the Madison Square Garden Lowdown for MSG Varsity, the Knicks, the Rangers, right here at WHITradio.org.
Hello, I'm Sam the Man, and that's Muhammad the Machine here for the Madison Square Garden Lowdown. And we're here to talk about the Knicks and the Rangers. They had an exciting weekend. The Rangers winning 2 over the weekend, beating the Islanders and the Lightning. And the Knicks going 1-1, beating the Timberwolves and losing to the Clippers in very bad fashion. They lost by a lot. Why did they lose by a lot? Tell me.
It looked like their defense wasn't really. They weren't doing too well. Oh, no. A big reason is Carmelo Anthony, of course.
Carmelo, really? Dropping 42 is the reason that they lost?
That's the reason they lost.
Really?
Not too many assists. If they can get him to distribute the ball more, they would have definitely won that game.
Yeah, but if he distributes the ball more, then...
Get more people involved. More people would be scoring the ball.
No, if he distributes the ball more, then that cuts down on his scoring. And if you don't know if the other person can score, but you can score, then...
No.
I think Amari should have scored more, right? How much did he have?
I'm not sure that game.
8 points.
He had 8 points that game. He had 16 against the Timberwolves, and they won. So...
Too much Carmelo yesterday. And not much of the rest of the team.
Exactly.
Felton scored 20 points, but the rest of the team didn't score at all. Plus, they got out-rebounded. Mm-hmm. They got out-rebounded about 15 rebounds.
Whose fault is the out-rebounding?
If
I believe that's Amari.
had the minutes.
Yeah, but Tyson Chandler is a better rebounder and defender.
He's a bigger guy. He's a center.
Yeah.
Positions. Look at the way in the fourth quarter, the beginning of fourth, when the Knicks were down, losing against the Timberwolves. Stoudemire came in, scored 6 straight points, gave the Knicks a little spark, something to work with in the fourth. They ended up winning the game because of that.
Then why didn't he do that in the Clippers game? Or
He
was
didn't have the chance to.
What do you mean he didn't
They
have
didn't
the
give him
chance
the ball.
to?
Exactly.
They didn't give him the ball. Carmelo only had 1 assist. When Carmelo gets the ball, he's a gifted scorer, but he's looking to score. And at the end of the game, they put Grant Hill on him for the fourth quarter. They almost had 3 people on him all the time, and they shut him down. The rest of the team couldn't score. The rest of the team couldn't pick it up. So they're too dependent on him.
Exactly.
They always look to him. I mean, you've got to get some other people in the mix. And it's not Carmelo's fault exactly, but the other people have to step up. And, you know...
that brings me back to my point of chemistry. You can see that chemistry definitely helps the Spurs, who are doing very good, even though their big 3 is very old, and the Clippers have good chemistry. They have a couple superstars, but they're also their 6th man, Jamal Crawford, and they have a bunch of little people who definitely help out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Crawford got 27 points or something.
Yeah. Coming off the bench, I mean, that's good.
I mean, that's big. J.R. Smith got what? 3 points?
Yeah, J.R. Smith's what? Yeah,
he got 4 points. So.
Yeah, and that's big for the Knicks because he's going up for the 6th man award. He's coming off the bench. He's important.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So he's a streaky guy, J.R. Smith. He's either hitting his shots or he's not.
For the most part.
And Novak, unless he gets isolated.
Novocaine.
He's not a really good defender, and Novocaine was shut out yesterday. So as soon as Carmelo went out of the game, I think for 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, they went behind like 5 or 6 points. By the time Woodson put him back in, the game was almost gone. So nobody else stepped up and took over.
Exactly.
So
you need to have
more
more
than too many minutes.
You need to have more than one person you can depend on. With Carmelo, for example, like most of the teams in the NBA have more than one person they can depend on. If the Knicks
I wouldn't say most.
Many. The teams that are doing really good now.
Yes, the teams that are doing good have more than one player, but the teams with a smaller market generally don't have the ability to pick up those big name players and keep a lot of them in when they have them.
You don't need superstars to be doing really good, though.
Look at the Pacers.
Exactly.
It's
their defense that's getting them this far.
4. Yeah. And that's why you need to get David West from them.
All right,
And
you want to make predictions for the finals now?
no, I want to talk about the Knicks' next game. How do you feel about them against Toronto? Do you think Toronto's going to win? I mean, they're a good team. They have
Rudy Gay now.
Yeah, they have Rudy Gay. They have DeRozan. I think that they could be a force to be reckoned with, but it's not showing in the standings. Well, how do you think that is? And do you think the Knicks will win the game?
I think that the only way the Knicks are going to win the game is if Carmelo passes the ball, or if everyone starts getting hot early in the game, then they'll win the game. They're unstoppable. Whenever they get hot as a team, they're unstoppable. When you blow out the Miami Heat twice in a row by 20 points each game, that's how you know they're...
See, now I was watching SportsCenter, and Stephen A. Smith had a discussion about the Knicks Heat, and he said that no doubt the Heat would just destroy the Knicks.
Well,
not destroy,
they're not the same team. Really, I don't think the Knicks are the same team that destroyed the Heat and the Spurs in the beginning of the year. They're not playing the same defense. Mm-hmm. They were holding teams to 80 points. Now they're letting most teams score near 100 or over 100
Clippers
points.
had 101 on them.
Yeah, Clippers had 101, so it's not the same team. Magic Johnson, if you listen to him, he had some good comments between the game and after the game. He said, this isn't the same team as we saw in November. Their defense isn't as good, and they're one step slower than most teams. Yeah. When they put Amari Stoudemire in that game, they slow down. The game slows down with Amari. You know, not that he's not a force, but they're just not that quick.
Yeah, they're not the youngest team either. They have a 40-year-old, number 40. Who is
Kurt Thomas.
Kurt Thomas. He's 40 years old. I saw him in the Timberwolves game. He was doing pretty good too. He had a couple shots.
But Jason Kidd is 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to be young
Marcus
to play.
Camby is near 40. You know.
Tyson Chandler is up there, right?
Well, Tyson Chandler is not. You know, he's like
He's 30. He's 30, right?
He's 30. Stoudemire and Melo are
Stoudemire's
30.
like 31. Melo's 28.
Yeah.
So they're pretty much in the height of their career at this time.
Yeah.
But look, they don't have much of a window. The Knicks. Either they're going to win in a year or two, or they're not, because these guys are not getting any younger.
Yeah.
And either they win with this crew this year or next year, or else they're going to have to break the team up.
Yeah, it looked like...
they got a small window.
In the beginning of the season, it looked like they really wanted it. Right now, it looks like they were just playing for all-star votes. They don't even want...
So getting back on my question, do you feel that the Heat would just run rampant on the Knicks, or do you think that it would be... I know it would be a good game, but do you think that indefinitely the Heat would win?
It depends. The Heat...
Depends on what? The Heat are playing really good.
No, they haven't been playing as good as they have been last season. This season...
I mean, they just had a really good win against a good team, you know, the Lakers. Tough team.
The Lakers are trampled this season. They're getting kicked. The Wizards beat them.
Stay on topic.
Okay. If the Knicks are able to play a tight defense like they did in the beginning of the season, stay hot, don't let their tempers get the best of them. Stoudemire and Carmelo, if they can work together properly, if they can take advantage of the Heat's flaws.
So you're saying that if the planets align perfectly and heaven and the clouds open up and one beam of light shines down on the Knicks, the Heat will win? I mean, the Heat will lose?
No. I'm saying that I think they have a good chance to win. I'm going 40% for the Knicks, maybe 60% for the Heat, depending on...
But Dwayne Wade's like completely healthy. LeBron James is playing amazing. I mean, they're unstoppable right now.
I see where you're going, but I can see the Knicks
Who's the
going
MVP,
far.
LeBron or Carmelo?
I'd say Carmelo, but the candidate right now is Kevin Durant. Carmelo added more wins to his team, and it's harder for Carmelo to do it than for LeBron.
Because he doesn't have the help from big-name superstars.
Exactly.
Like Amari, he doesn't have help from.
He has help. See, Amari's a great star. Not too many stars would like to go on the bench and support their team from the bench, but Stoudemire offered to do it.
That's true.
Exactly.
But that's also because Tyson Chandler's better, right?
No, it's because they were playing different positions.
Oh yeah, he's a center. Who's the power forward?
Stoudemire. Right now, the person who's starting, I'm actually not sure about that.
Wow.
But I don't want a guy who's making $100 million
sitting on the bench,
content to come off the bench.
Yeah.
I want him to. All right, I've had a knee injury. I'm coming back a little slower, but at this point, he's now been back almost 2 months. I want to see from him that he wants to be in the starting lineup. Guy making that kind of money, he's got to play 35, 40 minutes a game.
Speaking of that kind of money, this is kind of off topic, but how do you think the Yankees should handle Alex Rodriguez? He's making an insane amount of money, the biggest sports contract ever. This is his second time being busted for steroids, and he did not play good in the playoffs last year. Do you think that they try to, like,
I think they're going to
trade
try.
him or bench
I think
him?
they're going to try to negate his contract.
Yeah.
If all these things are true that's being said, the Yankees are going to find some way to get his contract voided, because he got 5 more years and he's making almost $20-25 million a year.
Yeah,
and he's
insane.
Just not half the player he used to be.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I'm really disappointed. He was like my favorite player. I'm disappointed with the steroid thing.
Yeah. So if this is true, the Yankees might be able to wiggle out of the
paying
contract,
all that money.
Paying all that money. You know, he's a talent. He was a talent. I don't know how much was due to the steroids and all that stuff, but he's fallen off dramatically. I mean, he used to average around 45, 50 homers a year. Now he's
getting injured
20.
every year.
What?
He's getting injured every year.
Injured year. He's not.
Might as well just call Nunez the starter, because that's pretty much what he is.
Yeah. And he looked lost in the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely lost at the plate. Did not know. I mean, he was fishing for the ball. He didn't have any idea where it was going. Didn't look like, you know. I don't know what to say.
He wasn't the same A-Rod.
But he's not this. If I was the Yankees, and I would look for a way to void his contract, and this may be the out for them.
Yeah. All right, let's talk finals predictions before we go on to the NHL. Who do you think is going to be in the finals, Mo?
Eastern. I'm going to do Eastern Conference Finals and then Western Conference Finals.
All right.
For the East.
If you just named the teams, I'm sure we could figure out which one's East and West.
All right. For the East, I'm predicting Knicks and Heat. And
No. The finals. No, I'm not talking semifinals.
The
finals.
Eastern Conference Finals.
No. The NBA Finals.
I can't tell you that.
Yeah. Well, then you're no good.
If I had to choose, fine. I'm going to predict the Knicks going up for the finals, and on the other side, Oklahoma City.
I think it's going to be Heat Clippers this year. I think the Clippers are just determined. CP3's playing great. Blake Griffin's playing great. They have a guy like Jamal Crawford coming off the bench, great team support, and I think that they're going to take it this year.
Clippers are one of the people I had in for Western Conference Finals.
But we didn't hear that because we don't need to hear that yet. All right. This was an exciting weekend for the Rangers because they discovered a new star. JT Miller scored 2 goals in his second game. It was really nice. And with the 2 wins, they've come into playoff contention. And they were big wins in a big way because they blew out both the teams. And those were good quality teams. Johnny Tavares and the New York Islanders and the Lightning were, well, Lightning not so much a quality. Well, actually, no, Tampa Bay's number 3. So, yeah, they were a quality team. But it begs the question, is it going to take a while for them to get sparked up and get hot, or is this going to be the turnaround that they need from here? They're just going to keep on winning games and winning games. That's just something that we'll have to see in the future. But before we get off the air, I wanted to talk about baseball and spring training and the Yankees. Do you think, I mean, I hear the Yankees are getting rid of a lot of players. I mean, we got rid of Raul Ibanez. We got rid of, who else did we get rid of? Swisher. All these players that we got rid of. And other teams are just getting better. Toronto Blue Jays in our conference are getting a lot better with all those add-ins from the Marlins and getting R.A. Dickey. Do you think that we're going to fare well in the Eastern and the AL East this year? Or?
Well, the Yankees usually find a way to be competitive. Toronto on paper looks like they've really strengthened themselves, but that's on paper. You know, the players have to play. I mean, look at the Mets. They got Jason Bay. Everybody said, "Oh, look at Jason Bay. They're gonna be terrific." And look what happened. But the Yankees will be in the mix. You know, I think they'll be in the mix. They always are. But as you said, on paper, it looks like Toronto has really strengthened themselves.
I also feel like Derek Jeter himself said that the Yankees had a lot of experience, and I think that's him just calling them old. Because that's really what they are. They're a very old team, and I think that if everything doesn't go perfectly for the Yankees this year, I mean, our infield took a hit losing A-Rod, definitely. I mean, if we have Nunez in there, I'm sure Nunez is a good player.
But they got Euclid, right?
They got Euclid, yes, that's right. He can play third.
Oh, they got him to play third.
Yeah. And they have. I don't think that Derek Jeter's the same shortstop that he was.
Well, he had a
before.
good year. He had a pretty good year last year. Yeah, he almost. What did he bat? 300 and.
No, I'm talking about fielding.
Well, he's lost his step, obviously, but he's
he had a good batting year. I'm saying.
I'd like to have him. I'm a Mets fan, and I'd like to have him at shortstop.
Oh, I feel. I'm sorry.
You feel for me, I know, but I'd like to have him. You want to trade? I'll trade our shortstop.
Why did you guys get rid of Jose Reyes?
Because the Mets owners are cheap.
Yeah.
They don't want to spend any money.
They just like to invest in
They lost so much money. So Madoff scandal that I think their payroll is like $80 million.
Yeah, so it's really low. You can do a lot with that, though. I mean, Tampa Bay does a lot with that. They did a lot.
You can do. I mean, but I think you got to spend at least 120 around there. I don't know many clubs that make it under 100 million. But you don't have to spend like the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers went ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're spending over $200 million on their payroll, but
I'm sure the Yankees are much higher than $200 million.
Well, I think they're a little lower now. I mean, they're probably around there too. But the Mets, they get rid of players, but they don't pick up anything.
They're going to have rebuilding years.
They always have a rebuilding year.
But I think that our right side of the infield and our outfield are good. But the thing that's wrong about the outfield is that we don't have any substitution. We don't have any backups.
Right.
So if one of them gets injured, they're all kind of old. We have Granderson, Ichiro, and who's the other? Brett Gardner. Mm-hmm. And they're all speedy guys. I think we're going to have a lot of speed this year. But if one of them gets injured, we have nobody to come in for him. I mean, that's a big thing.
Well, as I said, the Yankees always find a way, and if they have to go out and get somebody, they usually do. The Yankees are not afraid to spend money on a player they want. Unlike the Mets, who lowball that person and he goes to another team. They always get like the second or third tier player instead of who they want throughout their history. So I think the Yankees will find a way. They play what I like about the Yankees is they play for championship.
Yeah.
They play to win.
It's expected every single year. And my mom always tells me that she's a Mets fan because as a kid she would go to the Mets stadium, to Shea Stadium, and she'd go to Yankee Stadium, and she found that when she goes to Yankee Stadium and the Yankees lose, everybody was mad and everything. Yeah. But when she went to the Mets Stadium, Shea Stadium, and the Mets lost, they were like, oh, we'll get them next time. She just like that. I don't understand why you would like that attitude. It's
the wrong attitude.
Yeah.
The Mets have an attitude, well, in a couple of years we'll be better and maybe we'll win the championship. They don't play for the now. They don't play for this year. And they never really have. Back maybe in 2007, 2006, they were built to win. But the last 3 or 4 years, they're just really, I don't like the
I'm surprised David Wright stays.
What?
I'm surprised David Wright stays.
Well, when you throw $140 million at somebody,
I'm sure.
they're going to stay,
But I made this comparison the other day. I compared the Yankees to Apple because when Steve Jobs died, Apple really took a hit and their next product wasn't that good. And George Steinbrenner, I felt he died and the Yankees took a real hit. And I don't think that they're the same team that they were with him, and it's going to be tough to get back up to that level of competition.
Say what you will about George Steinbrenner, he always went after the best players. He went and got them.
There was no nonsense.
Yeah, he said, look, I want this guy, whatever it takes, let's get that guy. Yeah. And and it translated into championships. And his son doesn't seem to be too much like that. He seems to be very concerned with the bottom line, how much money he's spending, and all that stuff. But with George Steinbrenner, say what you will about him. Yeah. He always, every year, was built for a championship.
Yep, and I think that if it wasn't for him, I feel like the Yankees would be more comparable in number of championships to St. Louis right now, and there'd be like almost a chase because they have 15.
Well, the Yankees have 27.
Yeah, I know. We would. How many did Steinbrenner win? He had to have won like
5
six.
or 6. Something
Yeah,
like 6. I think he won about 6.
So.
Yeah, so
They would have been more comparable if there was like.
I think so, but
Yeah.
you know, it's not that Hal Steinbrenner is a bad owner. I mean, he does go after some players, but George, you know, what do we
George
have to do?
didn't go after him. He got him.
He got
it was
him.
like.
We got to win this year. We
Yeah.
got to win this year. It's like that was his attitude, and I liked it, you know. And you know, money was no barrier to him.
My dad was a Yankees fan because he lived in the Bronx, and he lived in the 60s and 70s, like he was a kid in the 60s and 70s, and he told me that the Yankees were really bad, and I don't know if they were really bad in that era, and I feel like George Steinbrenner came and took that all around, and his attitude was why they won championships, and I wonder if we're going to have a period in which we're really bad until somebody else comes and kicks it back around.
I doubt that Hal Steinbrenner would sell, but when the Yankees in the 1960s, after about 64 to about 76, for about 12 years, they were bad. They were owned by CBS, and they were mismanaged. They really were terrible, actually. And when Steinbrenner came in, he said he made them a winner again. So.
I mean, who else but George Steinbrenner would fire Joe Torre for not winning in the playoffs?
Right.
I mean, who else but him would do that? That's just a crazy move.
He fired Billy Martin like 5 times. If you look at that, he hired him, fired him, hired him, fired him. He fired Yogi Berra, who won the pennant. No, that wasn't Steinbrenner. But Yogi Berra actually got fired after winning the pennant in 1964. He won the pennant for the Yankees, and he got fired the same year. So, you know, winning pennants for the Yankees isn't enough.
Yeah, it's not.
Won the World Championship. The Mets would be ecstatic, but the Yankees, you know.
Well, there's the two standards.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting baseball season this year. All right, that's our show. I'm Sam the Man. That's Muhammad the Machine.
Yo.
That's Powerful Puccino working the board.
We're listening to the MSG Lowdown with Sam the Man and Muhammad the Machine, right here on WHIT.